thank the media for coming today. We've got a really important issue to talk about. It's a national issue, but I think we can take a real leadership role in the city of Albuquerque. I want to start with a story. My grandfather was a rancher, and my other grandfather was a dairy farmer. And when I was a little boy in Nebraska, one of the first things that I learned, and one of the first things these men taught me is, you can tell a lot about a person by the way they treat their animals. And these two men considered their animals not just their friends, but their business partners. These were animals that helped them pull a plow when they were young men. These were animals that helped them provide sustenance to their families and their communities. And they also had pets because they were animal lovers. And so that always has stuck with me as a mayor and as an individual. And so that's why today what I'm doing is I'm going to be sending a letter to Lamar Smith, who's in the U.S. House of Representatives, and he's one of the lead sponsors for what is House Resolution 2293, and it's a Senate Resolution 1831. And what it really is the Preventing Animal Cruelty and Torture Act. And they call this PACT. So the PACT Act does some very important things. First of all, in 2010, there was a law passed that made it illegal to deal and trade in videos that portrayed animal cruelty. And that was a very important step in the fight against animal cruelty in the United States. But we don't feel it goes far enough. We think there needs to be tougher penalties on a federal level for those who perpetrate animal cruelty. And that's why I have these leaders here with me today. I have several folks. I have Donna Stump is the Executive Director of Animal Humane New Mexico, is here with us today. Laura, is it Castile? Is she here today? Our task force chair for the Animal Welfare Task Force. Misha Goodman is here, who's the Director of Animal Control, Bernalillo County. I've got Barbara Bruin from our own Animal Welfare Department, along with Paul Castor, our Director. I've got a representative from Animal Protection New Mexico are here with us. Ralph and Selena Levine from PETroglyphs are here with us today. I've got Tammy, tell me, is it Feeble Corn? Mm-hmm. With the link?
Yeah,
which is
she's not here, but
she's not here today. But we've got just a number of folks who are animal welfare professionals, animal welfare advocates here with us today to help us send this message. And I'm going to tell you why we think this is important. First of all, it's just never the right thing to do to be cruel to an animal. I mean, let's just start there. Let's just start with, this is about the animals. This is about doing the right thing as human beings. But we also have data that shows us that when people perpetrate cruelty against animals, other horrific things happen in our communities. The FBI sees animal cruelty as a predictor of violence against people and considers past animal abuse when profiling even serial killers. Over 20-year observation periods, researchers matched groups of abusers and non-abusers and found that abusers were 5 times more likely to commit violent crimes than non-abusers. Up to 75% of domestic violence victims report that their partners threatened or killed family pets. In one study of families under investigation for suspected child abuse, researchers found that pet abuse had occurred in 88% of the families under supervision for physical abuse of their children. And according to the American Humane Association, 70% of animal abusers also had records for other crimes. So we need to get these people, number one, to stop abusing animals, but we also need to get them connected to services and the help that they need. So it's not just about the animals, it's about their families. I'll give you a couple cases in Albuquerque alone that just make your stomach turn. We have City of Albuquerque versus Amanda Griego, a case of starving her dog. At least a dozen misdemeanor felony cruelty cases occurred in 2015. City versus Andrew Benavides, accused of throwing his girlfriend's dog against the wall, breaking its neck. Also in 2015, dogs were shot, injected with heroin, burned, starved, and neglected. In 2015, APD had State versus Eldon Begay, accused of using a cattle prod on his dogs and his children. In Metro Animal Court, protecting animals and making our community safer is really one of the things that we can do. But there are other things we can do, and mostly we can come together as a community. So I'm going to ask folks to do a couple of things. I'm going to have Chief Eden tell you where you can write some letters. We're going to post a letter on the Mayor's Corner of cabq.gov. And anybody that wants to write a letter to the director, well, Chief's going to tell you, Animal Humane, and we're going to post my letter as well if you'd like to send a letter of support. I'm going to have Chief Eden kind of give you those places where you can be active in this fight nationally, and then I'm going to have Paul Castor say just a few words. Chief, you want to say a couple things?
I'll just stand right here, Mayor.
All right, go ahead.
Okay. One of the things I'd like to do is to encourage you to become part of helping us solve a problem, and that problem is there's some loopholes in the current federal law when it comes to federal law protecting cruelty to animals. So on our website, as well as the mayor's website, we're going to provide you with information. I took the time to write a letter to the Humane Society of the United States, to their law enforcement outreach director. I think it's really important to know that Congress does do their absolute best to try and write good law. But what we found out is there's a loophole in that law, and this is our attempt to get Congress to close that loophole. In most of these cases, we really need to have federal prosecution of these people that continue to treat animals the way that they do, and then transport those across state lines. And that's what this is all about. So I will have a copy of the letter that I'm going to sign and send off to them. And I would encourage you, whether you're in law enforcement or not, to take the time to look at this letter. I'll provide you with the email address of the coordinator. And please take 5 minutes of your time today or whenever you can, and please contact them. Don't let your voice be silent when it comes to the cruelty of animals, but more important, protecting them. Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. Paul, you want to say a couple words?
If I could, sir, I want to thank you for doing this. This is a good deal for us. Animal cruelty is huge, and not only does it lead to the child abuse and spousal abuse and other human abuse, but we need to nip it in the bud because the animals flat don't deserve it. I'd like to thank our enforcement division who's here, Captain Romero and his folks. They're the ones that see this firsthand. We've got some volunteers here from the shelter and from other activities. They're the ones that are trying to repair some of the damage that's been done to these animals that we do see. And to remind you to spay and neuter your animals, and please adopt, don't shop.
Thanks, Paul. Appreciate all you're doing.
Thank you, Paul.
So let me just end on this, and we'll be glad to take some questions. And I've got some folks here that are passionate that can answer questions as well about this. As a mayor, I can sign this letter, and I'm going to do that. And then we will get on the phone, and we'll make some phone calls to Washington, and we'll talk to people about how important this is. But the voice that's going to stand out above the rest is when the citizens of Albuquerque take the time and say Albuquerque, New Mexico is a national leader, and that's because we have these folks here today. We are a national leader in animal welfare. If you look at the statistics in our animal welfare department over the last number of years, our euthanasias have dropped significantly. Our adoptions have increased significantly. Our spay-neuter programs are being pushed all of the time. Some of our programs with trap, neuter, release, and other things, I think our shelter population right now is down about 40-some% from times past. Those are because intentional efforts are being made to make sure Albuquerque is a better place for our animal friends. But I'm one guy. I can sign one letter. Our city and our activist community can do a lot more than that, and your voices will stand out. So I'm just asking our community, get on our webpage, write those letters, send those emails, let our friends in Washington know this is important to us as a community, and I think that voice will go a long way in getting this bill passed through what can oftentimes be a difficult situation in Congress. So with that, we'll be happy to answer any questions if you have them.
When is the deadline for people returning these letters?
Well, as you know, Congress isn't setting any land speed records these days. So I just encourage people to quickly get those letters in. You can go to our website. The addresses are right there. We'll make sure we put an email contact on there as well. And you know what I found as a state legislator, and I'll tell people this all the time, when you send a form letter, that's nice, but when you send a letter in your own words, that goes a lot farther. Sometimes people will walk into a congressional person and say, here's a stack of all these letters that were the same form letter. But if they get a stack of letters that is a passionate plea from different people in their own voice, that makes a big difference. I appreciate the media coming today. This is a great service you provide to our community to let folks in our city know what we're doing, why we're doing it. And thanks for being here today. And just a special thank you to everybody here. I have been absolutely humbled, and I've just been blown away by our animal community here as a mayor. I don't know. I talk to mayors all over the country, and I don't know any community that's got a better animal activist community than Albuquerque. It is a testament to your passion, and you're making a difference. And so, thank you for all you're doing.